Hello and morning, everyone. This is Terry, and this is a late edition of Sunday's Breakfast with Botanica'S Orchids, culture guide from A to Z, and comparing that with my orchids from the guide. So, as you can tell, I am in the greenhouse. This is going to be a test of willpower so that I can see if I can get from one end to the other and show you these orchids. We just finished up with R last week, and that puts us on S. And S begins with Sarcochialis. I have never attempted to grow Sarcochialis. I am fascinated by them, but have never. Cetrium, no. Scaphocephalum, no, although I am interested in those. Spathogliatus, no. Orchis, yes. I have grown a number of Orchis, from those miniature ones to the more Tourette vining ones. Orchis is a genus of about 25 epiphytic monopodial species, distributed from Sri Lanka, India, in the islands, and the southwest of the Pacific Ocean. Plants were once placed in Sacalabium. Most of them are miniatures, Tourette leaves, small flowers on short inflorescence. The cultivation is that they're grown on, most of them are grown on mounts because they are pendant to a degree or just very small. Species with Tourette leaves should be watered regularly throughout the year, while the broad-leaved species should be kept considerably drier. They need bright filtered light and intermediate to hot conditions. Okay, I've tried to grow the smaller ones without success. I do not do well with smaller epiphytes because I just overwater them. I have, well, you know what, they're only showing those two. I have a couple of them. Let me get up and see if I can get to them even though they're not in the book. All right. I am just going to turn this off and I'll make my way down there. 1 second. Okay, well, even though these aren't in the guide, here are my Orchis. And this is when they are in their growth period. Well, they are always in growth, but they usually come from winter into spring and also put out their growths. And they do have a lot of side growths and roots, and we'll see what that is. I had thought that these were roots that were emerging, but they could be flower spikes. I'll keep you posted. This one bloomed during the summer. This is Geminata, and this one is Junkifolia. Orchis. Okay, let me make my way back past the traffic jam that will be eliminated. Okay, that was Orchis. Now we're back to Schomburgkia. Orchis, I did do the culture of Orchis. Okay, Schomburgkia, I have tried to grow Schomburgkia. Never again. They will never be I will never be able to grow them well. I don't have the space for them. These are like tree trunks. Schomburgkia was on my very first wish list. I did have a few, just did not have success with them. They just require too much light, too much space. I have gotten them to spike, but the spikes never progressed. Okay, Sedira Japonica. I don't know if I've ever had a Sedira Japonica. I've had a cross of Sedira Japonica, but not a Sedira Japonica. Sedinfidenia. I don't have Sedinfidenia. I have a cross that is a cross of Sedinfidenia and Paraphalaenopsis. But Sedinfidenia, I have grown it before. It used to be Arides, Let me see here. It does have Tourette leaves. Occurs in Thailand. It's best on a slab, pendulous. Bright light, heavy watering and fertilizer during after growth. Reduce watering after seasonal growth is complete. Grows on exposed situations, moderate altitudes. Stem is short, 18-inch leaves. Flowering is in the spring, and there is a flower. Now, my Sedina cross is right over there. It's a hybrid, so I'll just leave it at that. I'm doing my best with that. I have not had much success with the culture of that, trying to figure out its sweet spot. Okay, I'll keep going. Sauvignocofia. Let me see here. This is an angracoid, and I do have one, maybe I have two Sauvignocofia robusta. The small genus of Monopodio is from Madagascar, dry habitats under shade, related to angraecums. Cultivate these plants as for angraecums. And then it basically says the same thing. It's moderate altitude, 16 inches. The Vanda type, inflorescence up to 20 inches long. And there is a picture of the flower. I've had both of these, and let's see. I'll go and see. Let's see here. Okay, here is one of my Sauvignocophias right here, and that is not in the book, but this is Humbertiana, and this is the plant. You can see it's monopodial. It's got the big, fat, thick roots. New leaf emerging from the top. The inflorescence arises from the inside of the leaves, and flowers are pendant, very appealing. And I have another that's right there. I'm not going to walk down there now. It's sitting right there. It's mounted on that piece of ceramic. That is my Sauvignocofia robusta, and that does get a soak every day, whereas the other does not. It gets misting pretty much a few days a week. Okay, and like I said, this is a angracoid. Love it, love it, love it. They usually bloom for several weeks, usually going into the spring to summer. Sobralias, I love sobralias. I would love to have sobralias. They just are too big. They're like our big grassy plants that have these really nice flowers at the top. Andy's Orchids has the best. Okay, Sophroniatella, no. Sophronites. One time I did grow, I did have a Cernua, and it's right here, Cernua, but I do not have Cernua anymore. Like I said, I do not do well with miniature mounted orchids. At that time I didn't, but Cernua is really a nice one. Sophronites are used heavily in hybridization. They're miniature Cattleyas. Some of these are probably reclassified into Laelia. Yeah, I'll just skip right on past those. Although I'm sure that I might have some. There's a Reginae. Yeah, see, a lot of these have been reclassified. Sophronites milleri, I believe that is now Laelia. Here's Tenebrosa. Anyway, let's go on. Spathogliatus. I did have Spathogliatus Kimballina, but for me, when they go into their dormancy, when they lose their leaves, that is when I have problems with them. These are terrestrial orchids from Asia through Australia. They grow in low altitudes. So, and they are very floriferous when you can grow them well, but I just can't do it. And I had Kimballina, and I wish I still would love to have Spathogliatus because they're really, really nice to have. And I can't even pronounce this one, so I'll just go right on past it. And Spiranthes, no, those are outdoor orchids, or what am I trying to say? Terrestrial orchids, woodland orchids, native. Okay, so Stanhopias, I love Stanhopias or Stanhopa. Genus consists of about 60 species from Mexico to Brazil. Low, moderate altitudes, mostly epiphytic, sometimes lithophytes. Strongly scented flowers, inflorescent pendulous, with large flowers. Anyway, inflorescence grows straight down. Plants should not be grown in a pot. They should be grown in baskets, but you can mount them if you can provide the humidity and the light and manage the water. Okay, I do have a few species, as you know. Embrea, do not have Embrea. Insignis, Genishana, I don't have any of these. I did have Alitzii, but no more. Nigroviolacea, I did have Nigroviolacea, but I don't have that anymore. Wardii, I did have Wardii that bloomed very beautifully for me. Wardii, yeah, it was yellow, and the flowers are like lemon custard. Beautiful. These like copious amounts of water. They like shade. Contrary to what I used to believe, I thought that they liked light, but they like shade. So they're more or less an understory plant. What else? Tigrina. I do have Tigrina. I have the Predator. I think Tigrina comes from a higher elevation, as does Nigroviolacea, which is a variety. Yeah, altitudes of 4,000 feet. So these can stand a little bit of a cold, and these like less water in the winter. But they do not like to dry out, but they do not want a lot of water in the wintertime, but they don't want their bulbs to shrivel. So you have to maintain that balance. And my Stanhopias are all back in the back here, as you know. Here is a Stanhopia right here. It is Insignis. That's that one. I'm not locating my Nigroviolacea at the moment. Not my Nigroviolacea, but my Tigrina. There's a Tigrina right here. That is my Alba, my Rogue Cross. And I have my Predator is somewhere floating around. My straight Tigrina Predator. I am not locating it at the moment, but I do have one. There, that's a cross. That's a cross that I got from Genera. Actually, both of those are crosses. Alright, not sure where my Predator is, but that's okay. I have a Predator. It looks very similar to that one, the Rogue that I showed you right there. It's got to be hanging somewhere back. Oh, I see it. It's back over that way. I'm not going to walk that way because there's too many other barriers that I need to take care of. Okay. Let's go back to the book and see what we have left. And I'm going to hang this little totes up. I really have to water in here today. I've got to. Chocolate drop still looking so beautiful, and it is fragrant, folks. All right. But yeah, Stanhopes, cool. They have more intermediate temperatures, copious amounts of water when they are in growth in the summer, and you will be. And they do like to be root bound. So when you repot them up, don't pot them in too big of a basket. All right, Sarcochialis. I don't know that one. Stellus. I do not have any Stellus. Those are miniatures. Stinia, no. Stenorhynchus, yes, I wish I had a Stenorhynchus. These are beautiful. Love, love, love. They're related to Spiranthes, native to Florida, in the U.S., down into Central America, South America. Terrestrial, grows in moss on trees. You grow them for the foliage, but some of them do have nice flowers, like this one. Used to have the Leon Lichtenstein one and a couple of other ones with more variegated foliage. Again, they're watered when they're in active growth, and then their leaves die back after they flower or after their growth season, and then they should be kept in shade, humid conditions, and not watered until, they show their growth or foliage again. Really nice. But I don't have one of those now. Stenochore, I just got a Stenochore, so I don't know much about it. But anyway, I do know that they're epiphytes and they are related to Biphonaria, so this is probably going to be a difficult plant for me. You water heavily when it's in growth, and then it should be stopped for a couple of weeks before watering again. And Stenochore aurelia is the one that I have. But anyway, I think that it's on one of my carts. It wasn't spiked, but the spike's blasted, like I said. Spathogliatus, I don't have it. Synphoglossum, no. And that ends S. So, next week we will move on to T. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks, and enjoy your orchids. Bye.